Hello everyone, welcome to our game Gorogoa. We are week 10 and we will be discussing various aspects of this game through gameness, narration, metaphor, artistry, and reflection. Gorogoa is a puzzle game latest from 2012 to 2017. It took the producer 5 years to finish. It once amazed many players with its demo. That's why there was a lot of anticipation for its release. It was mentioned that, except for the soundtrack, Jason Robards, the producer, worked everything else entirely on his own. The game was released for Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, and iOS on December 14, 2017. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on March 2018, Android and Candlefire shortly thereafter. Its eventual release brought a great shock to many players and even honored it as a representative of the nice art. It has also received many international awards and nominations. At the beginning of the game, the player can easily define that the goal of the game is to collect 5 fruits with different colors. While the player is still marveling at the game's exquisite gameplay design, the protagonist's life journey slowly unfolds as the board moves. The gameplay of Gorogoa is full of artistry and creativity. During the 2 to 3 hours of play, there's no textual narration. The game consists of 2+2 squares, in which the protagonist travels through the image and discovers the connections between different objects. Just as the Chinese title of the game describes, word in picture. Picture is the main focus of the game, each visual layout representing a word from different time and space. The game's design is based on the maker's play on visuals. Players can connect the scenes that are seemingly unrelated to each other by dragging, dropping, and combining images on the panels. For example, in the third chapter, the player needs to zoom back and forth between 2 fields and quickly make multiple splices. In this way, we can change the size of a key item, a small stone, and function it in different ways. This innovative gameplay allows players to explore different dimensions and timelines to solve various puzzles.
The second part is about the narration of the game. First, the game uses a dual narration to storytelling. The main line is the experience of a juvenile collecting 5 different colors apples, and the experience of the juvenile as the protagonist in different periods of his life as a subline. Through the player's operation to form the interaction of time and space, the protagonist of the game shadows through his own lifetime in his periods of youth, middle age, and old age. Although the stories in the 2 narrative lines take place in different time and space, they are still on the same timeline, which gives the player a wonderful game experience through the interplay of time and space, and enhances the player's sense of interaction and immersion, which is similar to the experience of watching the movie Midnight in Paris. In addition, the development of the storyline is combined with the puzzle part of the game, where the player needs to solve the game's puzzles in order to develop the storyline. As Stewart Wood said, the single-player video game presents challenges to the player in a progressive manner, while the ongoing narrative provides a sense of coherence between different challenges. This game also implements incremental progression as a motivational element, triggering the player's desire to play constantly.
Metaphors are also used in this game. Metaphors can help game designers convey some profound thoughts and philosophical concepts, allowing players to receive some inspiration and insights while entertaining. The 5 color fruits in the game are also used throughout and are important clues to understand the connotation of the plot. First is the red fruit. which may symbolize life force and sin. On the one hand, the boy fell from the top of the tower but did not die, so the red fruit is a symbol of vitality. At the same time, the boy was punished for not performing the sins in the right way, so the red fruit can be seen as a symbol of sin. The second is a green fruit, which represents the eye of God and revelation. The green fruit comes through the eye of God, so there is obviously a direct connection between the two. The eye of God turned into a green fruit. God sacrificed part of himself to obtain revelation and enlightenment for the boy. The third is a yellow fruit, which may symbolize guidance and search. At this stage, the hometown is gradually rebuilt from the ruins, and the elder boy has begun to be exposed to astrology and alchemy, pursuing the footsteps of God through his own attempts and explorations. The fourth fruit is a blue fruit, which may mean dedication and practice. The protagonist searches for the blue temple, rings bells in the desert, lights candles in the forest, and baptisms in the snow-capped mountains, and finally turns all of his dedication and training into blue fruits. The fifth fruit is purple, which may mean enlightenment and sublimation. And as the game comes to an end, the protagonist looks back on the past and tries to piece together the clues into a final answer to the question. The original symbol of upwardness turned into the final purple fruit, and everything was sublimated in the process.
Regarding the visual aspects of the game, I would like to talk about Jason Robo's drawing style and the presentation of the game screen respectively. Jason did all the artwork for the game. In the early stages of the project, he treated the game almost as a visual art project, so the graphics were very important to him. He likes to draw with pencils, so all the illustrations in the game were drawn with pencils, scanned into the computer, and then colored in Photoshop. The 19th century painters David Roberts and Gustav Dahl were very important influences on Jason's drawing style. He likes to have a rich and detailed style of drawing, which is also reflected in the game's graphics. In addition, most of the buildings in the game are inspired by Spain architecture, such as the Alhambra, and many of the buildings combine elements of Christianity and Islam. The second is about the presentation of the game screen. The main screen of the game consists of 4 images with a frame. Frame is very important to Jason. Usually people will actually ignore the frame and focus on the content, but Jason is very interested in multi-frame narrative. He wants the player's consciousness will fall more on the structure of the multi-frame instead of focusing on the content of a single frame, so that even if there is only one frame in the picture, it will still convey a kind of energy, and make the player feel that the blank space outside of the frame is intentional, and must be trying to convey a message, which is the power of frame to Jason. The game's soundtrack, produced by musician Joe Collins, is a soothing and calming style with a religious feel that fits the atmosphere of the game perfectly.
The overall story of the Gorogoa is quite complete, creating a mystery and ethereal atmosphere for players in a few hours of play. In fact, the creator intentionally hid information into the game screen, and this wonderful feeling of understanding after playing may also be the charm of the game. In addition to the monster and 5 color fruits in the game, some of the rare-looking drawings are also quite confusing. The picture of different objects on top of each other, although they are almost completely different, but still connected to show a strange sense of balance. Looking back at these weird drawings after playing the game can reveal their intrinsic relevance of the theme of the game. Not only the drawings, but the core gameplay of the game itself is to find connections between different objects, and the
Extent of connections means that there is something in common, which leads the philosophical connotation of immorphism, that everything in the world is unified in its essential structure. Unlike other puzzle games, Gorogoa can be complete in less than 2 hours, so there are many details in the game cannot be analyzed one by one. For puzzle game, the more puzzle the better, but the Gorogoa is not a simple puzzle game, and all of its description ultimately serve the story the game tells. But if you want to tell a good story, you have to make sense of everything in it, and you have to cut out the superfluous things. In addition, Gorogoa's use interference is always more sophisticated than other puzzle game hints. It avoids all texture interference, uses the most primitive graphic narrative, and builds a Tower of Babel in the game. However, because information available to players is too simple, in the process of playing may not understanding the information conveyed by the picture and get stuck, unable to proceed to the next step. There are also many cultural symbols in the game which have a certain connection with real-world history, religion, and other elements. Allow people to be in a wonderful world that is both real and fantasy. I hope you can understand the meaning of the author after completing the game. Everything is connected if you observe the world you are in now. Do not find anything meaning. It means that you have to change the angle or after suffering to find it.